Do you hate small talk? The seemingly meaningless conversations that we often have, especially on first dates, or when we meet people in person and we want to go out with them, or even if you're not dating and you're just talking to people out and about, small talk is actually an essential skill to have. When it's done well, it leads to deeper connections, especially when you're on a date. When it's done well, these first conversations can help us establish rapport. They can help us become more relaxed, and it can help us uncover common interests. If the thought of engaging in small talk makes you cringe, you're in luck because I'm going to be sharing 5 valuable tips for mastering the art of small talk and dating so you can create more meaningful connections. Tip number 1, be curious and interested. The key to successful small talk and dating is to show genuine interest in your date. How do you do that? You ask open-ended questions that invite thoughtful responses and encourage your date to share their thoughts and experiences. We often ask yes or no questions. What do you do for a living? Dead end. Where did you grow up? Dead end. It's not open-ended. What did you love about where you grew up? Or how did it impact your life? Is a different story. What do you like about your work? What's the most meaningful impact you've ever made through the work that you do? If you could do any job in the world and money wasn't an object, what would you do and why? Those are questions that show that you're curious, you're listening to their answers, and you show curiosity by asking follow-up questions too. I mean, I'm a podcaster, so I'm used to this kind of conversation, but people really appreciate feeling heard and feeling valued. Tip number 2, be present. It is very easy to get distracted when you're on dates, especially a first date and especially if it's a blind date and a stranger. We might be thinking about so many things that have nothing to do with the person who's in front of us. You're thinking about the laundry that's piling up. You're thinking about a work project, or maybe you're thinking about, did I turn off the stove? Uh-oh. We might be analyzing our dates, seeing if they fit our checklist of must-haves and just focusing on how are they not fitting in. So I invite you to focus on being present and engaged when you're on a date. Maintain eye contact and actively listen to what your date is saying. Put your phone away, and you get bonus points for telling them you're putting your phone away so you can listen to them and not get distracted. I love when people say that. I am putting my phone away so I can be present with you. Your full presence shows them that you are genuinely interested in getting to know them. Tip number 3, share personal stories. Come prepared with your own personal stories about topics that you are interested in, topics you're passionate about, whether it is a favorite hobby or a podcast you just listened to, or a vacation that was life-changing or just so meaningful to you. This allows your date to learn more about you, and it creates opportunities for them to share and connect more deeply with you. Personal stories are engaging, so much better than listing a bunch of facts, which is what we normally do. Tip number 4, be playful. Humor is a wonderful way to forge a connection. Our sense of humor is indicative of the way that we see the world, which is one of the keys to compatibility. You can share something funny that happened to you that day, or ask them who their favorite comedian is, what funny movies they like. You can make a humorous or witty observation about something in the room that you're in. You will quickly find out if you have the same sense of humor, if you find the same things funny, which will almost guarantee a second date. Couples who laugh together stay together. Tip number 5, find common interests. You would be surprised how much you have in common with total strangers. Looking for those common interests is going to help you learn about your date's values and deepen the conversation. Discover what interests you share by talking about hobbies, or your favorite books or TV shows or movies or your travel experiences. This not only provides topics to discuss, but it also creates a sense of excitement and mutual understanding. Here's an example of small talk in dating. Imagine you're on a date with Michael, and you ask him what he likes to do in his free time. He shares about his love of biking, and you actively listen. You ask follow-up questions about what he loves most about biking, what he loved about the last trail he went on. Does he bike in a group or by himself? What's the farthest distance he's ever biked? How did he feel after that amazing accomplishment? Inspired by his stories about biking, now you share a funny story about you biking. Maybe you fell off your bike when you were little. This sparks a lively conversation where you both exchange stories, and maybe you even plan future biking adventures together. I have a couple in my book, Love at Last, that met through biking. So it's not so crazy. When you find those common interests, you can find your last first date. By showing genuine interest in your date, being present and engaged when you're on the date, sharing personal stories, using humor, and exploring the common interests that you share, you're going to have more engaging and enjoyable conversations with your date. And with practice, small talk leads to deeper connections, which is really what you want. With these conversation tips, you are more likely to go on your last first date. And if you want to improve your ability to have meaningful first date connections, join me this Monday night, December 9th, 2024, for my monthly Women of Value Masterclass on the art of small talk and dating. Join now for only $7 the first month at the Women of Value Club. Click on that and you'll learn all about the Women of Value Club, and you can join us there.